Hello everyone, I'm Dick Wolf with the Buzz Moment. I'm outstanding in my field actually, with Ed Burns, Agricultural Extension Office for Franklin County. And Ed, we got a story, a national story is running that the nation, and especially the southeast of the United States, is in a drought condition. And so you brought us here to this field to say that's true. How true is it?
Well, in Franklin County, and of course the last 6 weeks depends on where you're in this county as far as how critical that drought's been. Actually, this summer I measured corn in our corn trials and stuff from 85 bushels to nearly 280 bushels.
That's pretty good.
280 bushels is excellent, but the 85 is not.
No.
You know, and so basically Franklin County has been divided east and west. The western half, we're here just outside of Winchester, and Winchester's been kind of the pivotal point. You go west of Winchester towards Belvedere, they've had fairly decent water. I live in Belvedere. I've had to cut grass twice a week, okay, just to keep up. But now the last 5 to 6 weeks has been dry. However, if we go east of Winchester, and the further we go towards I-24, the drier it gets. And we actually had corn trials there up near the interstate that measured 85 bushels, you know, for average on I think there was like 14 varieties in that trial. So, you know, they have suffered drought all summer long. There's been folks up there feeding cattle, supplementing pastures with hay for the last 3 months. Folks down here just now in the Belvedere area, just now, okay, yeah, grass is getting a little short. But, you know, we look at some of the brown grass and you know, the crabgrass, the Bermudas, we've had a little light frost, not a necessarily killing frost, but that grass should be brown in because it's a summer grass. But drought is impacting it because we've still been warm enough for some of that to continue to grow. The fescue that we normally depend on in the fall, cool season grass, not doing too well. And the biggest thing right now for the whole county is trying to get things seeded like wheat for cover crops or for grain. If you want to redo your lawn or renovate your lawn this fall, you know, you're going to have to buy that water from the city if you don't have a well. And at $8 1,000 gallons, and you know, like to have an inch to inch and a half. Well, on an acre of ground, an inch and a half of water is 40,000 gallons of water. At $8 1,000, your water bill is going to be pretty big. Of course, most folks don't usually redo that big a yard, but yeah, that's on top of what you normally would use.
Well, it's agriculture. You mentioned in an earlier interview that agriculture is an $88 million a year business in Franklin County. Sure. We're standing in a field that you say has got cover crops. Some of it has come up, some of it hasn't. What's that story?
Well, basically, you know, this field that we're in was seeded. Mike Robinson rents this field and is preparing it for next year's crop. And one of the things he wanted to do was basically keep it from eroding, and sowed a cover crop of wheat and crimson clover. And you know, we see a little bit of wheat around us here that's came up, but these bare spots, which is probably at least 40% of the field, you know, that seed germinated, but due to lack of water, it just died. And so, yeah, he did not get what he was looking for, so we're going to have some bare soils exposed to winter rains. Hopefully it does rain this winter. You got several weeds that have come in, so he's going to have to deal with that. And that was one thing, the cover crops, was hopefully hold some of these weeds back. Yeah.
So when will the impact, if he's having trouble with the cover crop, will he not be able to plant? Or,
oh yeah, because basically this would be no-till. So he would come back and actually with a herbicide kill these weeds. Of course, Mother Nature's going to take some of these weeds out. You know, when we have a frost,
right?
You know, they're naturally going to die, but they will be back next year. And so that's something he's going to have to deal with then. And he's just not going to get the protection on the soil that he would like to have had, you know, had all the cover crops come up. These cover crops that are seeded, you know, they've been seeded long enough. If we'd had somewhat normal rain, they ought to be probably 3 to 4 times bigger than what they are now.
And they don't even come over my shoe soles.
Right.
All right. And let's we talked earlier, you mentioned a myth that I've been promulgating, which is that Franklin County soils are very heavy clay, and that's why we grow such good crops. That's not the case.
Not necessarily. No. Most of our soils are basically silt loam type soils. You know, if you just simple soils. Soils are made up of three components: silt, clay, and loam, or the kind of the organic matter in that. Most of them, if you look at how soils are named, they start out with just like the ingredients on a package. What's the main ingredient is named first. In soils, it's the same way. So if clay was the main ingredient, it would be a clay silt loam or clay whatever. But you don't see that much in Franklin. Most of them are silt loams, or silt clay loams. Clay is not the predominant feature.
And where does the red color in the soil come from?
The red color is basically these soils, especially in this. We're in a valley, and this was the last place the oceans drained when this was all under ocean. Okay, so in this valley, these are the soils that were here, and they're basically derived from high-grade limestone, which contains a lot of mineral, and that mineral, as it exposed to air, rust, just like rusted metal, and so you get that, different soil. If you go in the north end of Franklin County, a soil type that we see predominantly there is Dixon soils. They're very light colored, almost white colored type soil. Those soils were probably blown in. Being a little higher in elevation, they drained earlier. If this was all under ocean, there was no cover crop, no cover on that soil. So as it dried, the winds blowed it and they came in, and you've got a shallow soil that's sitting on the original soil.
All right, Ed Burns, Agricultural Extension Office, thank you very much for coming out here today and showing us what this is.
Okay, thank you.
For the Buzz, I'm Dick Wolf reporting.